There she is, Miss Hans!
Paparazzi, can't you just leave me alone for one moment? I want to talk to my fans.
Photo,
No
please!
photos, please.
Wait, come back, Kelsey! Hello, you. It's come to my attention that some of you would like to know how to be as famous as me by posting your own pole journey. Well, come closer. I'm going to share with you some industry secrets. Hi, I'm just kidding. About the famous part, not about the how to share your pole journey part. Today, I'm going to give you tips and tricks for recording and sharing your own pole dance journey, or really any journey at all. I recently reached the 1-year mark of my at-home pole journey, so this feels like a good time to make this video. Plus, I am so tired of re-uploading my old content, and I thought we could all use something fresh. Although these tips are applicable to any kind of progress journey, like I mentioned, I will be specifically relating them to a pole dance journey. So to start with, you're going to need access to a pole. That means either ordering one for your home or scheduling classes for yourself, and I have some videos with more information on that in the description box below. Also, what do we think? I'm trying yet another filming location, and I'm trying to go with like a cool tone aesthetic for my new channel, and I'm also like wearing makeup. I don't know. Let me know about this stuff. Now it's time to decide on your medium, or the platform you're going to use to share your pole journey. Are you going to be posting short clips on TikTok or Instagram, longer videos on YouTube, blog posts? Knowing your medium will inform how you start to record your progress. TikTok and Instagram will require vertical videos, YouTube will require horizontal videos, and blog posts will require still images and lots of text. You don't need fancy equipment for any of this. Just a plain old smartphone will do, since most smartphones these days have pretty powerful cameras. Just make sure that you have enough storage space for a bunch of photos and videos, and you're all set. I also recommend getting a tripod to set your phone on while you're filming yourself, or else you'll fall victim to one of the most classic blunders. The most famous of which is never get involved in a land war in Asia, but only slightly less well known is never set your phone up against the wall and expect to get a good shot out of it. Filming tips! As for lighting, you can't really control this if you're filming at a pole studio, but in general, don't point your camera directly at a light source, as that will wash everything out. Like, don't point it directly upwards. If there's a window behind you, try closing the blinds or covering it up, or else you'll be silhouetted against the backlight. Try to keep the space around you clean and free of any distractions. Note that in this shot, your eye is drawn to the bright yellow cleaning cloth, and then here, all that junk is gone, so you can better focus on what I'm doing. If you're at a studio, ask your classmates if they can move their backpacks or socks or whatever that might be cluttering up your shot. And pull your camera back further than you think. I can't tell you how many shots I have of me climbing the pole and then just cutting off the top 2 feet of the action because I assumed I'd have everything in the shot. You can always zoom in on yourself later. Finally, I recommend putting your phone on Do Not Disturb mode while you film, otherwise a random call from Great Aunt Becky could cut off your recording right in the middle and you'll lose footage of your epic trick. Keep your videos organized. Your phone should automatically categorize them by date, but you might want to favorite the ones you know you want to share and delete extraneous ones to free up more space. If you feel so inclined, you can write yourself a few notes about the names of the tricks that you worked on or how you felt that day, so you can relate that information back to your audience when you're sharing your progress. Okay, so now you've got footage and photos on your phone. What should you do with it? Is it time to share it? Not quite. First, consider your medium again. Do you have an account set up for your pole progress? Are you going to make a separate account for your pole stuff because you don't necessarily want your family to see it? More on this later. Have you set up a YouTube channel and made double, triple, quadruple sure that it isn't attached to a university email, therefore locking you out of potential monetization forever? Regardless of your medium, you should learn how to do a few simple edits, like cuts, voiceovers, taking out or putting in audio, and censoring yourself. Of course, in a perfect world, we would not freak out over a little exposed labia, but I don't want you to risk losing your entire account just because your crotch popped out in one shot and you didn't cover that up. Again, you do not need fancy editing software or a huge computer to do any of this. I can't speak for what it takes to edit a TikTok, and those can honestly be pretty impressive, but I can tell you that I have always edited my YouTube videos directly on my phone using iMovie. Yes, every single one of my YouTube videos. And I'm pretty sure there are equivalent apps on non-Apple phones. Yeah, the software can be a little limiting, but if you're just looking to share your pole journey and not throw your hat into the ring for Best Cinematographer at the next Oscars, you will have everything you need right at your fingertips. If you're like me from the years 2008 to 2018 and you're still rocking that flip phone life, you might need to reach your fingertips out towards a computer, but these next tips will apply to you. Just for the sake of my phone's storage, I do download everything onto my computer before I upload it to YouTube so I can clear it out of my phone and iMovie. So I guess a computer is involved for one of the steps, but you can always upload directly to YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok from your phone. Oh, one more iMovie specific tip. If you are recording with a newer phone, there's a big chance that it is recording video in high definition, which can tank your uploading and processing speeds on YouTube because YouTube is going to treat the video like it's 4K. It used to take entire days to upload a 12-minute video of mine, and that like really sucked the joy out of creating them. And then I realized that as I was saving the file to my phone, I could go into options and select 1080p instead of 4K as the quality, and oh, my life got so much better. Besides looking at my 4K videos, I'm like, oh god, that's like too much detail. I create all of my thumbnails using a free account on Canva, but if you're proficient in Photoshop or Adobe Studio or something like that, you could always use that. Or you could let YouTube auto-generate your thumbnails, which can be hilarious sometimes. Or if you're uploading an Instagram video, or I assume a TikTok, you can always scrub through your video to choose the cover photo or upload a separate cover photo. And if you're making a blog post with still images, it's so much easier to just screenshot yourself from a video than trying to pose for the still image in the first place. Okay, you've got the footage, you know how to edit, you have an account, let's talk about when you should post. And no, I don't mean this in the post 3 times a day on the half hour and twice on Sunday evening to drive up engagement, search engine optimization hell, but I mean when you should share your progress. Find time parameters that work for you. Once a month is a good amount of time for a progress update. Any more frequently and you'll feel extreme pressure to do more in an impossibly short amount of time and potentially injure yourself, and any less frequently and people might forget about you. And I mean, you can always post like little tricks that you're working on or anything else you want in between, but sharing a month of progress each time is the sweet spot for pole content. Plus, anytime you get on the pole to film, you are beating up your body because you're getting on the pole. And I want you to have plenty of time to rest and train properly in between your filming sessions. Is there anything you shouldn't post in your progress videos? Well, like I mentioned before, you might want to learn how to censor out any inappropriate parts that pop out. I also remind you not to shit all over strippers when you're posting your pole content. If I catch you saying something in your videos like, OMG, I'm doing pole fitness, never stripping, I just like respect myself, LOL, I'm clicking out of the video, unsubscribing, and sending you a strongly worded letter. I would also encourage you, especially when you're just starting out, not to post tutorials or how-to videos. I've seen a lot of people be like, first day getting the pole, I just learned how to climb, here's how to do it. It is totally fine to share how your progress is coming along, but you're just not qualified to teach. Heck, I'm not qualified to teach, and I've been at this for a year now. You might have seen I had a tutorial on my old channel, the best pole moves for big thighs, and as I was recording that, I was like, what am I doing? I'm not an instructor. Basically, if you can't do the move consistently, safely, with a good understanding of anatomy and a clear explanation on both sides using safety equipment, then you just don't need to be showing other people how to do the move. So for now, just stick to showing us what you've learned, not what you think you can teach. Those are two very different animals. So what should you post? Anything else you want. Don't let me tell you what you can and can't do. But here's something I highly, highly encourage. Post both the highs and the lows. Especially for using a platform like Instagram or TikTok where you only get a few seconds, it can be really tempting to post the one cool trick you just did, slap some awesome hashtags on it, and call it a day. But people should see all the hard work that you put into getting that trick, which includes showing the failures as well. Psst. It also drives up engagement. People tell me all the time that they gravitate towards my videos because they're realistic, and I can pretty much guarantee that they would do the same for you. Plus, it's extra satisfying to watch someone get a trick that they've been struggling with for months rather than just seeing it once it's the perfect end product. Let's talk about a few other considerations when it comes to sharing your pole journey. Get comfy with comments. I have been blessed with the world's nicest comments, and a few from men. But sometimes people are just gonna say really uncomfortable things to you because you're a pole dancer. Feel free to block them or delete the comment, or you can also feel free to direct them to some of my videos if you feel like they just need some education. But do be aware that comments are bound to happen. And remember not to disrespect strippers if you do decide to clap back at those comments. If you are filming at a studio, know when it's time to have your camera out and when it's time to have it away. There will likely be a few minutes at the end of class when you can totally grab some footage, but if your instructor is like right in the middle of teaching a trick, that's not the time. And this is a really big one for you studio goers: consent. Not everyone at the pole studio would be happy to be featured as a background performer in your videos. After all, we're all running around with our asses out during pole class, and sometimes you just don't feel like being on the internet with your ass out, you know? Unless you're me. Anyway, if there are classmates around when you're filming, either get their express consent to be featured in your video or film with no one else in view. This is often easiest if you ask a classmate to hold the camera for you, since they can sort of avoid getting other people in the shot, and you'll probably end up with a better angle of your trick anyway. Sometimes you look at your footage and you're like, hell yeah, here I am doing a badass trick, and then inevitably there's Jennifer in the corner squatting in her thong and you have to edit her out. I've done this a few different ways. I've tried facial blur, which is not always reliable because it doesn't always actually track the person. Sometimes it's like, ooh, an inanimate object, that must be the face, and it shifts over to that. I've slapped emojis over other people in the shot, or I've cropped the shot way closer to me. And yeah, this usually ends up pretty ugly, so again, it's probably best to ask a buddy if they can be your cinematographer for the day. And yeah, I know, we live in the digital age. We should expect to be surveilled every second of every day, and we're all willingly posting our faces on the internet a few times a day anyway, so what's the big deal? Well, pole is an incredibly vulnerable sport, and just because you're ready to share your pole journey online doesn't mean that everyone else is. We do need to respect the people around us. While we are on a serious streak, I do need to acknowledge this. Not everyone is going to be supportive of you sharing your pole journey. A few of you have reached out and told me that your family members do not approve of you posting your pole content online, and I feel for you. Your family might be well-intentioned. They might also need to check out a few of my ... and pole dancing videos, but they might be well-intentioned. And I realize that not everyone is lucky enough to have someone like my dad who will set up lights for them or build a box around their pole to keep it safer. As much as I preach about the stigma of pole being unfair, there is still a stigma, and I don't think it's evil of your family members to worry that you're going to be perceived a certain way by strangers online for posting your pole content. So, depending upon your relationship with these family members, you can decide if you still want to go through with posting your content and risk their ire, or you could always post your content while wearing leggings or being a little more covered up, like using a silicone pole, or you might just decide to forego the pole content and post a different type of journey instead. Also, if I ever hear that it's your boyfriend who doesn't want you posting your pole content online, remember that strongly worded letter I mentioned earlier? Yeah, he's getting a strongly worded textbook because your body is yours and not his, but anyway. I would also like to remind you that your pole journey is wonderful and valid, even if, 1, it seems way slower than everyone else's, and 2, nobody seems to be engaging with it online. Regarding point 1, it is so tempting to show off amazingly difficult moves and feel terrible about yourself if you're not getting them, and then especially terrible about yourself if you're not even getting the simple moves. Comparison is really the thief of joy here. But you are still making progress, and you are still on a journey, even if that progress is just you showed up for pole class on a day you didn't feel like it, and even if that journey is just a single step in a forward direction instead of a sprint to the finish line. And regarding point 2, numbers are also the thief of joy. I got really caught up with this in my previous channel because I was so desperate to reach the 1,000 subscriber mark and the 4,000 watch hour mark so I could find out about monetization. Rest in peace, Kelsey's pole journey. So sometimes I'd post a progress video or any other video, and then I'd be like, it's been 20 minutes and it only has 2 likes. Why aren't people engaging with my content? If a video underperformed, which YouTube will always kindly tell you about, I felt like it somehow negated all of my amazing progress because the numbers weren't amazing. So I really encourage you to take a step back and not let the likes, views, or subscribes tarnish your opinion of yourself and your journey. And finally, remember that this is a journey. You might get swept up in life and stop posting poll content after a month or 2 or 6. Your account might go dormant, or you might delete your blog. Or you might keep this up for years and years and it becomes a huge part of your life. Either way, be prepared for the knowledge that sharing your journey adds an extra layer onto the journey itself. Look at you climbing the pole. Look at you filming your tricks. Look at you sharing your amazing progress with the world now that you know what you're doing. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Please always feel free to message me. Here's my Instagram handle if you have a video or a channel or a blog post that you want me to see, because I love to pop in and offer support. And if you want to support me, you can like, comment, and subscribe. So let the journey begin. Bye!